Hello, hello, rock stars, and welcome back. Let's see, I'm trying to make this go live on Instagram as well. It's still thinking. Here we go. All right, my apologies to Instagram that we are going to be horizontal, but we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Quilting Rockstar University welcome party. I am so excited to greet each of you by name as you join Quilting Rockstar University and celebrate the community that we are building together. Now, just before I jumped on with you, I hit print on our lovely list. So I'm going to dash into the back and grab that. While I am doing that, please say hi in the chat. Let me know that you are here. Susan Ruff, I hope that your ears have been burning in the best way all day, because in addition to talking about all the quilts you've been quilting, I've been talking about race timing with people like randomly for the last 3 days. And I keep talking about how cool you are, that you know how to time races. So anyway, okay, I'll be right back. Let me grab this. Dun, 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 dun. Everything is better with theme music. Y'all didn't know you were going to get me singing in your ears while I dashed to the back. Some of you knew that. Susan knew that. Who is here? Roxanne and Susan Buick. Yes. Donna Felici, it is great to see you. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. One of the things that I am most excited about with Quilting Rockstar University is that we are bringing back some OG things to String and Story. So some of y'all were here 1 trillion years ago in the before times. And by the before times, I mean like 2019. Okay. And there were things that, because of the way String and Story was as a business then, the size we were, the season of life I was in, all of those things. Okay. Um, there were just things that looked different, right? And one of the things I'm most excited about with Quilting Rockstar University is being able to bring some of those things back. So the way we have continued to evolve, some things get to come full circle, and that just makes me really, really happy. And one of those things is welcome parties like this one. So I have here, I have a chain that we're actually adding on to, and it's gonna take a little bit of effort for me to show you all the whole thing at one time. There you are. These are all the folks who are already in Quilting Rockstar University. These are the folks who were part of a little bitty, itty bitty, teeny tiny beta launch that we did last month in July. And we did this ceremony, if you will, a month ago, celebrating the community that we're building. And tonight, I want to add y'all's names to this, because I think it's really important to have this visual of all the ways that we are linked, right? There are so many things happening in the world. There are so many ways in which we are different. We are on different continents and different countries. We speak different languages. We navigate different time zones. We come from different religious, ethnic, racial backgrounds. And yet we have this beautiful common hub in quilting. And throughout String and Stories history, that's allowed us to do several very special things. It has allowed us to have a really rich community as y'all are growing in your quilting confidence. And honestly, as I'm growing in mine, right? Like, so often in the context of this, I am teaching, but I can't even begin to put into words all the things I've learned and all the ways that I have grown by being a part of this community myself, right? So we get to have this really rich quilting community that we are continually growing and challenging and encouraging and tackling things, right? But we get to do that as humans too. I have a lecture that I started giving earlier this year called Why We Quilt: How Joy and Sorrow Shape Our Creativity. And for so many of us, there is some very happy or very sad thing that brings us to quilting. And part of how we navigate our own humanity is with a needle and thread and with this community. And I think that piece is so important to remember, because historically, quilting was done as a community, right? Mostly women would gather and stitch together. They would create patterns together. They would do the piecing by hand while having snacks and tea and whatever else. And then as a community, they would put the quilt on the frame and quilt it. And our community looks different in many ways, right, at this point. But the fact that we can virtually recreate that idea, I think it's important to have a visual reminder of we are literally linking ourselves together by being part of Quilting Rockstar University. And I am just pleased as punch to hop to it. So I'm going to start calling names. We will chit chat as we go. Um, and hopefully I have enough papers cut here. I'm a little doubtful. Honestly, there's quite a few of y'all that have jumped in here in just the last little bit. So I'm going to call names. I'm going to say welcome. I'm going to add you to the chain, and we're just going to yak while we're doing it. Okay. So Susan, it has been a while. I am so pleased that you are here. Let me pop over to Instagram, by the way, and see who all is here as well. Hello, everyone over on Instagram. I see Kate and Jan. Oh my gosh, Jan, I'm so glad that you are here because guess whose name I'm holding up right now? It you. Hello, Corey and Janiqua. And let's see, who else do I see over there? Laura, Claire, and others. So first up, we have Jan. Welcome, Jan, to Quilting Rockstar University. I am so pleased to have you. I'm already having to do paper control here. This is already a thing. I knew it would be. That's kind of half the fun, right? And Susan Ruff said, I will get you up here sometime and you will help me time. Susan, I'm in. That sounds like fun. That sounds like an arbitrary skill set I should add to my repertoire. I'm here for that. Hello, Belinda. It is good to have you back. And welcome to Quilting Rockstar University, Amanda Walt. We're not even going to talk about the trickiness of writing names while saying them. We'll carry on conversations, but I'm just pleased as punch that you are here, Amanda. Now, the other thing I'm going to do as I am greeting y'all and making small talk and all of the things is I'm going to talk about what is coming up in this first month of Quilting Rockstar University. Welcome, Stephanie Reed. It is so good to see you. Ta-da! In this first month of Quilting Rockstar University, my big goal for each of you is to finish a quilt. So no matter where you're at in your quilting journey, right? If you have never put a needle through a quilt top before, or if you have done 100 of them, like Susan Ruff, welcome Kathleen Williams. I am so glad that you are here. In our first week together, so next week, we're going to talk about how to choose a project to complete over the next 6 weeks. Now, if you are a brand new baby quilter, meaning that you're quilting your own projects kind of for the first time, then I might suggest that you simply pick out a panel that you like. Okay. Welcome, Marcy Jenkins. And yes, that is the same wonderful Marcy who works here in the shop. We had multiple Team Rockstar members decide to jump on in, and I couldn't be more pleased. I couldn't be more pleased. Also, I feel like I need to say on record that like they were invited to join just because they're members of Team Rockstar, but they like wanted to join on their own. So, which means a lot, honestly. You're on Facebook and Instagram, Jan. I love that so much. Welcome, Peggy Ellis. It's so fun to see your name. Peggy. So for some of y'all, I may suggest something really simple like picking out a panel that you like. And the reason for that is that I want you to quilt something that is bigger than a practice sandwich. And when I say practice sandwich, I mean something that's fat quarter sized, right? I want you to quilt something bigger than a practice sandwich, but not necessarily something that you have a whole lot of like emotional skin in the game. We're going to get to that a little bit later. My goal for each of you is that no matter how much a quilt means to you, you will feel comfortable quilting it yourself. But it is okay for it to take time to get to that point, okay? All right, let's welcome Pamela Simpson, Teresa Bell, and Sand Luck to Quilting Rockstar University. By the way, y'all, I am going to drop a link down in the chat that if you have not yet jumped in with us, this is a wonderful time for you to be asking questions, and it's a wonderful time for you to decide to join, okay? Enrollment is closing tonight, and I don't want you to miss out. Right. So for those of you that are brand new, I may suggest something really simple like a panel, or if you have a quilt top that you pieced a while ago that's not very big and you're not that emotionally attached to it, that could be a really good thing too, right? For some of you, especially some of y'all who are recent graduates, you may want to pick something that's a little bit higher stakes, right? Because this is going to be a really fun opportunity as you go through Custom Quilting University or Custom Quilting Academy for the first time to build that quilting plan and have the step-by-step guidance that I'm going to be offering. Now, as you know, that guidance continues, but there is a little bit of extra special, um, a little bit of extra special hand holding, right? Since this is the very first time. Welcome, Elna and Linda and Pam. I am so glad you are here. And I see Rebecca, all the way in Ireland, has waited up. Rebecca, I don't know why you are awake at after midnight your time, but I sure am thankful. I was thinking about you earlier today because there was a lady in here. We had a sew day here in the shop today, and a local group came in and they were quilting. And there was a lady in here who reminded me so much of Timmy. And I just was very nostalgic all day for our time together at festival. So, yeah. Ingrid said, I don't know if I joined last month. How can I find out? I can check for you, Ingrid. Give me just a few minutes and I will check. Let me lay these out and I will side quest over and I will look. So give me just a sec. Ba, 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 ba. And Jan, I saw that you left a comment as well. And I will look at it in just a moment. Great opportunity, Ingrid. I appreciate you checking in. Let's see. How many Ingrids do we have? There are several of you. Let's see. Let me look up your full name. Oh, you have two. It looks like you did, but I'm going to double check. So Ingrid, it's taking time to click the buttons and go to space and back. Yes, Ingrid, you joined last month. You are a member. That means you are already on our gorgeous chain. I thought you were. I recognized your name. You did sign up with a different email than you had previously purchased your courses, though. So if you're having trouble logging in, send us an email at hello@stringandstory.com and Laurel will get you sorted out. She can either merge those accounts or whatever. She can get it figured out. Jan says, I have a quilt I need to send a pic of. I want to do ruler work, but it has stars and tons of different colors. I'm trying to figure out what thread color would be best so as not to keep changing colors, but need to do something smaller first since I'm new to rulers. So yes, Jan, post a picture in the membership community and we will take a look at it and we'll figure out something that you can do that's similar as a nice little introduction project. And then maybe right after that, you can do your gorgeous stars. That sounds like a great plan. Hello, Jenny. It is good to see you. Also, welcome, Corky and Laureen and Adrian. Adrian, I think I left an E out of the middle of your name. There we go. We squeezed it in. Welcome, Rockstars. I'm thrilled that you're here in Quilting Rockstar University. Now, if you are tuning in and somehow, even though I have been talking about Quilting Rockstar University ad nauseum, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like somehow you've missed it all week. Quilting Rockstar University is the new way that we're doing Free Motion Quilting Academy, Ruler Quilting Academy, and our other courses. We wanted to make it more affordable. We wanted to be able to make more courses, but not have it be confusing. And we had more live events that we wanted to be able to do. And I just felt like every time I turned around, I was asking for y'all to sign up to another thing. And frankly, I was getting tired of myself. It wasn't as cohesive as I wanted it to be because as we were planning events and we were planning courses, I could see the big picture of how all these things connected. But it didn't feel that way as I was talking about it to y'all because they were all separate registrations. And frankly, it was starting to get really expensive to have all of our classes. So we did a little bit of brainstorming and we decided to do a membership model instead so that once you are a member of Quilting Rockstar University, you have access to all of our courses. Free Motion Quilting Academy, Ruler Quilting Academy, Long Arm Prep, the brand new Custom Quilting Academy. We've got other things planned, a new course that'll come out in November. We've got some stuff planned for next year. And that just felt like an opportunity that would be so much easier for everyone, right? When I want to share about something new, I can say, here's this new thing. It's inside Crew. By the way, Quilting Rockstar University, the acronym on that is QRU. I've declared it to be pronounced Crew. Speaking of pronouncing things, welcome Kim and Debbie, Katie, Cindy, and Lee. I am so thrilled to have you in Quilting Rockstar University. So we decided to put everything into one membership so that you had an easy button. That if you know that you are a dedicated rock star who wants to be part of this community and who wants to be growing as a quilter and working on your own quilts and finishing as many of your own quilts as you can, that this was the place for you. And that rather than having to constantly stay on top of every invite and every event and every single thing that we were doing, you could say, I know that I'm a member of crew, so I know I've got access to that. Yep. Jenny, you signed up. Don't you worry. I don't think I've gotten to your name yet, but you did. I remember. And if we haven't, yep, I see your name on my list. I'm getting to you in just a minute. So instead of doing individual course registrations, individual event registrations, we decided we were going to do one $37 membership. So instead of hundreds of dollars for a single course, and you only have access to that course, this way you get all the things for as long as you are a member in good standing. And y'all, that's not even a quilt back, right? 37 bucks is 3 yards of fabric. It's not even a quilt back, right? And there's nothing that you can get long armed for $37. So if you are quilting just a few projects a year, one, you're using your stash. You're using things that you already purchased because you're going to need practice sandwiches. You're going to need sample pieces. You're going to need quilt backs out of your stash for those tops that are pieced and ready to rock and roll, right? By the way, welcome Peggy and Marie, Mary, and Kelly. I am thrilled that you are all part of Quilting Rockstar University. It's going to give you more joy units per quilt, right? Because you're going to spend that little tiny bit more time with each project rather than just moving on to the next top. And something that I have said for years, and I want to make sure that I repeat it out loud tonight because I think it is really important. The most expensive quilt is the one you don't finish. Because the quilt that lives as an unfinished top represents hundreds of dollars and hundreds of hours and buckets of love that never got to go anywhere, right? It becomes a stagnation of our own creative energy. And we want that creative energy to flow and get finished and go out into the world, whether it's onto our own couch where our people and pets are snuggling it, or somewhere else that it's getting loved and enjoyed, right? And by having the opportunity to quilt them yourselves, you eliminate those very expensive unfinished quilts from your life and you get more joy from them because of, even if it's not your favorite quilt top, because of the practice opportunity that they create, the creative outlet that they create, right? Welcome, Debbie and Jenny. I got to you, and Michelle and Trina. Trina, it's so delightful to see your name. I hadn't seen your name in just a minute, and I am so thrilled that you are here. Welcome to Quilting Rockstar University. Let me pop over to Instagram. I know that I've been neglecting my chat over there. There's so many of you. It's so good to see you. Jan says, yippee, so excited to be part of this group. And Laura says, I'm chasing Helen around on a little motorized car. That's adorable. I love it. So after our very first week together, which I was talking about, where you're going to pick your very own quilt to be your first project that you're going to quilt, we're going to take a little bit of a step back and we're going to do some planning and some growing. Okay. And what I mean by that is that you are going to learn all about quilting plans, why they matter, how they work, and how to make one. And then you're going to make your own. And whatever quilting motifs you decide need to be on your quilting plan. So for those of you who are very new, Margot, it's delightful to see you. Those of you who are maybe new to finishing your own quilts, your quilting plan might be as simple as I am going to do a meander all over this quilt. So you're going to do an all over quilting plan with just one motif. And it might be as simple as a meander. Let's see. I am taking a guess. This might be a last name that I am shortening to a first name. So hopefully you will recognize yourself when I say your name out loud. And for those of you that have been quilting with me for a while who have joined, you might be making a semi-custom or a fully custom quilting plan. And you're going to get that all drawn out on paper because practicing on paper is way less scary than practicing on our quilts. Welcome, Elizabeth, Carol, Sumai, and Phyllis. It is great to see y'all inside Quilting Rockstar University. Once you have that quilting plan all drawn out, you're going to need to know how to quilt those motifs, right? So my beginner rock stars, you will dive into various lessons of Free Motion Quilting Academy and Ruler Quilting Academy and go learn how to quilt the motif or motifs that you have chosen for your project. For my fully custom folks, my more intermediate to advanced folks, you may already know the motifs. You may just go practice them. Or maybe you've graduated from one course but not the other, and you're going to begin working through either Free Motion Quilting Academy or Ruler Quilting Academy, building your skills. And then our last couple of weeks of this kind of beginner section we're doing together, you're actually going to quilt that project and you're going to bring it to life. And then we're going to celebrate as you reach that goal of quilting your own quilt, which is so exciting, right? Let me write one more name and then we're gonna holler some people here. All right, welcome to Quilting Rockstar University for Dory, Melanie, Tony Ann, and Cheryl. And here's the thing, I'm giving y'all this kind of outline of all the things we're going to do together in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I want you to know it's like a couple hours a week. This is not some massive commit. This is not marathon training. Y'all, those of you who are in Quilting Rockstar University, I am sorry, not sorry for how much you're going to hear me talk about marathon training over the next forever. I am deep in it for New York Marathon right now. So New York Marathon is, I believe, in 10 weeks. We are getting really close. And my long runs have just hit the point where they're real. You know, they're a distance that hold on, I cannot write and type or write and talk. Blah, blah, blah. Um they've really just reached the distance that I really have to think about them and make sure that I plan. And I cut it a little short on the logistics side of things yesterday, and I paid for it on my run. Welcome, Danielle and Polly and Kathleen. But I bring up marathon training to say marathon training can be so all consuming. And that's not what we're going to do inside Quilting Rockstar University. Remember what I said at the beginning of our time together, right? That like the history and delight of quilting is this gathering of folks together to make quilts. I'm going to do a very scary thing, y'all, and I'm going to grab the big paper chopper and we are going to chop some paper. Did I say, well, I think I only said welcome in my head. Welcome to Danielle, Polly, and Kathleen, just in case I didn't say your names out loud as I was stapling them. In my head, I said them, but I suddenly wasn't sure I said them for real. We're going to chop more paper links carefully. So the history of our craft, right, is doing things together in little bite-sized pieces. And that is exactly my goal for these next 6 weeks is how can we take this, what feels like a very big, daunting task of quilting your first project, and how can we break it down into manageable little bites? Lee, I'm so glad that you're here. I just called your name. Huzzah. So each week we're going to spend over the course of the week just a couple of hours growing your skills, mastering different motifs, feeling confident putting fabric under your needle and beginning to create the designs that you dream. So that by the time we actually put your proper quilt under there towards the end, it will feel exciting, right? And this is where it is similar to marathon training. This is so scary to do on live camera. I'm going to be very, very careful doing this. This is, I don't know. I use a rotary cutter on camera all the time. Why does this feel so scary? Where this is similar to marathon training is that the goal with the marathon is that the race itself is your victory lap. All the hard work happens in training. And by the time you are at the start line and that gun goes off and you begin to race, it's really just a celebration of all the hours you've already logged. And ideally, you feel calm and prepared and like you know what you're doing, right? And that's exactly that's what I hope for me when I get to New York, first of all. But it's also what I hope for you. Okay, we're gonna just cut this right down the middle, and that's gonna be, yep, excellent. We have lived another day without a paper cutting incident. That feels successful. It's the hardest thing I've done all day. Hello, Kate Brennan at AQS Grand Rapids. Um, Rebecca says, yes, let's finish some quilts. I need to finish a few quilts that I've been procrastinating over. See, and that's exactly it, right? We all have quilts that we tend to procrastinate over. And it's not necessarily because we don't want to get them done, but there's some sort of mental friction that has happened. Maybe we don't feel like we have the skill. Maybe we don't have a good plan. Maybe we've somehow convinced ourselves that we don't have enough time, even though A, we are all grown-ups in charge of our schedules and we can make time for things that matter to us. And B, quilts can be done in smaller chunks of time than we sometimes act like, right? I know I can definitely be guilty of that, of thinking that if I don't have 3 or 4 hours to work on something, then like, what is the point? But really, when you're learning how to quilt your own quilts, or when you're doing a particularly complex quilting plan, often those 15 to 20-minute increments are the most important ones, right? Because you can get a lot done, but you're not going to overtax your body. Hello, hello, Robin. And I see Dr. Mario pops in. And who else is here? Kathy. I'm just saying hi over on Instagram. If you are here on Instagram, I see Deb is here. Say hi. It's always fun to see y'all. Welcome, Karen and Susie with two Z's, which was very fun to write. Do you have fun writing your name every time you write it? I enjoyed writing your name. And Janice and Madge to Quilting Rockstar University. So what I want to model for you, as I was saying, in these early weeks is how can we take a big project, break it down into bite-sized chunks, and watch our confidence grow over the course of that time. I've actually created a lovely little outline for you to make it even easier to do this, so that each week you know exactly where you need to be diving in to the different course lessons, so you can focus your time and get the most out of your busy schedule, because we've all got those busy schedules, right? So that's the overview. That's where we're headed. Within that time, we're also going to have our weekly Q&A session, so you always feel nice and supported. And we're going to have our serious masterclass. So those of you who followed along this summer, we did the serious quilt along. And I am going to quilt mine, not all of it, but a section of it, live on camera in September. I've created a very funky, very custom quilting plan. And I'm going to basically put y'all over my shoulder so that you can see what it's like to take that quilting plan and bring it to life and answer all of your questions in real time as I am doing it. As I'm doing this too, welcome Sandra and Arlene, Abigail, Michelle. I think I wrote Arlene twice, and Ariana. Huzzah! Welcome, Rockstars. All right, there's my overview. What questions can I answer for y'all? If you are here and you are still on the fence, by the time we are done in just a bit, my hope, of course, is that you're off the fence and into Quilting Rockstar University. But if you're not, I want you to feel very confident in that decision. I want you to know that you chose the right choice for you for where you are in your quilting journey now. So fire away with those questions if you have them. I'm going to write a few more names down. Let me just keep checking my Instagram. Hello, everyone. It is good to see you, Jeanette, Suzanne. Wonderful. Thanks for being here, y'all. Kate, how is AQS Grand Rapids going? You've been on the road. I feel like I've barely heard from you because you've just been busy living the life. Elizabeth. I love seeing familiar names on here. Welcome, Kristen, Elizabeth, Wendy, and Nancy. It is so fabulous to have you here in Quilting Rockstar University. I'm gonna have to pick a special way to hang this chain up, y'all. This is a big deal. Rebecca, what have you been working on since Festival of Quilts? First of all, I cannot even begin to handle the fact that Festival was almost a month ago. How is that real life? And what have you been working on since? I finished, y'all, this is very exciting. I finished today the biggest quilt I have ever long armed. And some of y'all just had the thought, wait a second, she did that ginormous Polaris quilt earlier this year. Surely she didn't just quilt a quilt that is bigger than that Polaris quilt. Yes, I did, Rockstars. Yes, I did. I have learned that quilts larger than 100 inches bring me very close to tears. Um, a lovely Rockstar brought this quilt in. This is the first time that I am quilting for her. And she brought this quilt in a little bit ago and longer than I would like to admit because some are really backed up, my long arm queue. And welcome, Claire, Patty, Janine, and Linda, by the way. Um, and when we were chit chatting, she was like, I think the quilt's about 100 by 100. Now, this right here, y'all, this is my fault. And I want to make sure I own that. I should have unfolded her quilt and measured it right then. It would have saved us both a lot of hassle, frankly. So I accidentally created hassle, which was not my goal. So a little bit of time goes by. Her quilt comes up in my queue. And I go to put it on the queue and discover that it's not 100 by 100. It is 112 by 132. It was so big. And like, first off, mad props to her because, oh, Lee, I thought I called your name earlier. You're actually up here now. Haha. We must have had two Lees. Mad props to her because she pieced this big old quilt and came out the other side, a whole functioning human, which I think is just an absolute miracle because it was big. And it had big borders on it, and she did a great job. See, all I quilted this quilt today. It barely fit on my frame. Barely. There was one section that actually it was a little bit wider because it wasn't a perfectly square quilt because most quilts aren't. And I had to actually turn it to finish it at the end, y'all. It was wild. It was so big. That is what I've been working on since Festival of Quilts. Welcome, Lee and Christine and Jeannie and Lisa. It is so good to have you in Quilting Rockstar University. I'm thrilled that you are here. And Lee, I hope that you are still here live and got to properly hear your name because you deserve that, Rockstar. All right, out of curiosity, if you are here with me, do you have a guess or an idea or a hope for what you are wanting your project in September to be? It is okay if you don't. It is okay if you are brand new and you're like, that feels overwhelming to already know what I want to quilt at some point in the future. Right, Jan, it was such a big quilt. I saw your wow. It was so big. So impressive. I laid it all out on the floor. I think 10 people could snuggle under it. All right. Welcome, Laura, Linda, Karen, Brenda, and another Linda. It is great to have you all on Quilting Rockstar University. So once we go through this complete a project plan, our next step in some ways will be to repeat that, right? Like that's what quilting is. Like we make a project, we finish a project, and then we do it all over again, right? But my hope is that each time your quilting will be able to grow in complexity and that your confidence will absolutely skyrocket with every finish that you see pile up. Susan says, I think I'm going to quilt serious and I'm hoping to do some ruler quilting. Yes, Susan, I love that. So I will also be quilting serious. So we'll be in it together, which will be great fun. I am trying something different. So I've started a little bit of a challenge to myself, if you will, that there are motifs in Ruler Quilting Academy that I just don't use very often. Um, for whatever reason. And so I have started challenging myself whenever I'm drawing quilting plans to try to wiggle some of those motifs in. Welcome, Karen, Maria, Monica, and Diane. It is fabulous to have all of y'all in Quilting Rockstar University. But on this particular quilt, on the serious quilt, I decided to use Vortex. So Vortex is a ruler quilting design that kind of spirals inward on itself, but it creates a little bit of a tunnel effect. And I made it really big in my quilting plan, and then I'm filling in all the funky sections with different free motion motifs, and I'm honestly super excited about it. Carolyn says, will you be covering how to custom quilt around applique and embroidery? I don't have a quilt right now that I can demo it on, Carolyn, but yes, we will absolutely be talking about it. We will talk about it primarily in our Q&As, and then at some point, hopefully I'll have a sample to do. And I have some resources that I can send to you as well, Carolyn. So yes, absolutely. I want you to be able to confidently custom quilt whatever you are working on, including applique and embroidery. Great question. Welcome, Miranda, Carrie, and Margaret. I am so thrilled to have y'all in Quilting Rockstar University. And then I got to check y'all and see if I've missed any names because I've reached the bottom of my list. But if you've jumped in since we've been here, oh, I also ran out of staples. This is why I grabbed a whole box. I was ready. Ouch. I'm glad there weren't any staples in that. It would have gotten my finger. Y'all, I just had the most terrible flashback. I did staple my finger one time as a kid. This should not be surprising, right? None of us are surprised that I did that. I don't remember the exact circumstances of how I managed to do it. I think I probably was putting staples into the stapler and my finger was underneath. I think I must have been holding it. But when I tell you, my whole body just remembered that. Woo. All righty. Carolyn, you've got me thinking about my half-finished applique projects now. Hello, Jenny Hines and Be Joyful Mom and Belle Thomo. Jan says, I want to learn rulers so bad on my long arm. Jan, we're going to make that happen like immediately. Immediately. Okay. I love that. All right. Let me see who else I need to add. There are a couple of you. Oh, this makes me so happy. I got to click to all the right things. Give me just a second. Just the right thing. All right, Supercard is the name that I had not printed out. Oh, and another Margaret Malloy. Welcome to both of you. Let me make your little chains. All right. Rockstars, thank you so much for being here with me this evening. I hope that this was fun. I hope this gives you a little bit of a glimpse of the layout and plan for the first part of Quilting Rockstar University, so that you understand exactly how valuable it's going to be to you over the next month. For those of you that are new, welcome. I hope you see how welcome you are. I'm so excited that I get to shout each of your names individually and add you to this chain, because this is one heck of a gorgeous community that we're building together. And y'all, I just want you to think about if every single one of y'all finish one quilt, even if it's like a little table runner in the next month. Think of all the beautiful quilts that we're gonna have. Sorry, I just put y'all right up where my mic is. That was probably very crinkly. So, Rockstars, welcome to Quilting Rockstar University. Sign-ups close tonight, so if you've not jumped in yet, please do so. You can head to stringandstory.com and click the banner at the top, or click the link that I am dropping down in the chat. You are invited. You are welcome. Even if you're a brand new quilter, maybe you just started piecing quilts and you're worried that it's too soon to learn how to quilt them. It's not. I highly recommend being a beginner at all the things right at the beginning and just take it all in. Come meet your amazing quilting community. I can't wait to welcome you with open arms. Bye for now, Rockstars. I'll see you inside Quilting Rockstar University.